Hey, what's up, guys? This is Scott from Landscaping to the Point, Landscapes by Acme. I'm joined here today again by my favorite host, Josh, the Ghost. He's always out there somewhere sleeping, and JC, the great boxer boy of his. What's going on? He kind of looks pretty dark. He must be sitting around somewhere, just drinking his coffee. Look, Darth Vader. Gotta love that. So, what's up, guys? Good morning.
Good morning, Scott. How you doing?
Good morning, boxer boy. He called you boxer boy.
Boy, I just watched. I've never boxed in my life.
You never know. You'll be the next one to box. I'm telling you. I think you will be. So
You said that Josh was always sleeping. He never sleeps, that guy.
we caught him. He was sleeping a little bit ago.
When I sleep, I sleep. That's the one thing, man. You know, that's what telling Scott. I worked the storm last night, and I just woke up. I moved about 40 minutes ago. I never do that the day after a storm, but the timing worked out perfect, so I was able to.
He got at least a little bit of sleep in it. So today we're going to talk about some great topics, guys. So the first topic I got, and I'm throwing this out to you guys because I know Josh does a lot of stuff. I do a lot of services, but we were out passing out flyers last week. And so usually when we see other company flyers, I like to try to grab one and see kind of like what kind of services they offer, or if they're putting something special on there. And this one kind of blew my mind. I'm going to kind of show you. I cut out their names, but that's how many services they have. Well, a lot of services if you really think about it. But some of these services for this small company, this is a smaller company, kind of like probably 2 guys, 3 guys, probably, I know. So some of the services just blew my mind. One is it's in the outdoor landscaping area. It's called rocking. I don't know if you ever heard of rocking, but I would consider it stone install, which 4 letters down, they have stone install too. So I'm like, okay, what the difference is rocking compared to stone install? And then another one, they have a whole section with 20 different things that they do for home and building restoration, like junk moving, moving and hauling, home winterization, caulking, painting, reorganization. Like, to me, I don't do that kind of stuff. If a client calls me and asks me to kind of do something like that, if I have extra time during the winter and I can do something like that, I'll do it, but I don't put out that I do that kind of services. I stick to my lawn and landscape services. So is that something that you guys would ever do? I know, Josh, you do a lot of different things. So is it something that you might mention out to customers?
So now, no, I stick to specifically what we do. I've got to a good point where we've scaled down to where we want to be. But in the beginning, yeah, I mean, I did whatever I had to do to make money. The wording, the verbiage that's being used on that, like caulking, junk removal. You can tell that's someone that, like, when they were starting, they didn't have enough volume in like mowing or weeding, that they were like, someone might have asked, hey, do you do handyman stuff? Yeah, I did. Oh, can you caulk my windows? Did it once. That's something I can add, because I would have done the same thing. It's just things you do to try to fill that out. But at the same time, when that shit comes in the middle of my house, I'm throwing it out. Or like, that's a jack of all trades. Like, I'm not with that. I'd rather, like, when I hire out, I like to hire a specialist, someone that, like, I like to see, like, hey, this is Acme Landscape, mowing, trimming, fall, spring cleanup, boom, to the point. And I remember looking at our service menu drop down, and there was so much. Like, for instance, we do, I haven't looked at the website in a long time, but it should say hardscape, starscape, industrial and commercial snow plowing, and mosquito and tick control. That's essentially what we have. Now, there's drop downs we don't have inside that menu where it goes to hardscapes, where it might be like sailing and cleaning, things like that. But we just advertise hardscapes, and if people ask us, then we'll push it. But I try to keep it to just the point. I think, dude, imagine the tools you need for all that crap. That's like 20 grand just in tools.
Yeah, it's a lot really, I agree with you. I mean, yeah, it's like you put on there like landscaping. Most people are going to know when you're landscaping, you're going to do plants, you might do mulch, and if they don't know what you all do, they're going to call and ask you. And I feel like I'm the same way. I want to promote what I specialize in, and not just like all this little stuff that maybe, I might have, I've done building a house. I'm not going to put on there like, hey, I'll build your house for you.
Yeah.
But,
but you mentioned it good too. you said you're not going to tell a customer, but like you Scott, you have those skills. A good customer, you might go, if they say, hey, do you know someone that can put in a door frame? You might go, well, it's slow, I can do it for you. But one, you probably enjoy doing it,
Right.
and it's not part of your business model. I feel like
Right.
if you're in landscaping and then you have like the whole home renovation, divide it into two. Like that's the hard
Yeah.
part. And I think a lot of it is just guys throwing darts to get whatever they can. And that's what kills. I want to say this while being rude to any particular industry. This is what is hard to separate and professionalize lawn care and landscape. They think that every lawnmower guy is a handyman because a lot of the times the
Right.
handyman will do whatever they need to do to get money, whether it's picking up dog shit, taking out the trash, cutting lawns, or putting up shelves.
Yeah, I with that ad, I appreciate the hustler's mentality as like, hey, I'm just trying to get any job that I can, but you definitely have to specialize in something. It's like the way I would think of it is you go to a restaurant and that restaurant has an endless menu of just like anything you want. And as the customer, you can't even decide what you want to eat. Now, a lot of those menu items have ingredients that aren't being used because people are just ordering other stuff. And now that food in that refrigerator of that restaurant is going bad. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like
Yeah.
you specialize in one thing and you hustle as much as you can to get that skill set. But I think if they were just to minimize that, maybe handyman services, and that way they could pick and choose what jobs they want to do, as opposed to being so specific as if like caulking, rock installs. It's just way too much for the customer to even look at. It's like, oh, I don't know if this guy does this. I don't know if this guy does this, but he listed that he does this or she does this. And it could be overwhelming. I think if simplicity and on top of that, organization for that person, as far as like jobs, what they have to do, where they have to go, that's going to be a headache for that person, I think.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, I remember when I first started out, and I actually worked for a company, and pretty much when we started out back in my day, like if you did lawn mowing, you did snow removal. There wasn't, roofing companies didn't go out and do your snow removal. And yeah, they eventually got into that, and I can see that in our area. But now I see more in our area where a lot of these lawn guys are like doing this, like, oh yeah, well we do painting. There's a company in our area that actually, it says on their truck, I forget what the name is, but it says painting. And you're like, and then you got a list of services and it says painting, junk removal, landscaping, mulching, and you're like, what are you calling the guy out for a paint estimate? And then you're like, hey, why don't you do my mulch job so I can just hire you to do it instead of the guy that actually has been doing it for 20 years, that knows exactly what he's doing. I mean, I get that you got to do extra work, and I feel the same way, kind of like you can do it, but it's like, do you have the time to do somebody's mowing and you're there doing the mowing, and that homeowner said, well, I need my paint, my caulking done, or I need my painting next week. Can you do that while you're here mowing? How are you going to do that if you have already 20 customers you got to cut that next day? I don't see how that you're going to organize it to say, okay, well, we're going to do this and we're going to do this at the same time. You're going to have to either bump up a lot of people to do it, or you're just going to have to decide on which one's going to make you the most money and do it.
I think lead generation sites are partly to blame for that too. Like Thumbtack. I was on Thumbtack for a while and I made a lot of money off them. But I think that when I was using it, so when I would activate Thumbtack would have been typically like right after February, like mid-February, March, where you knew the stuff was coming and you were slowing down a little bit. There wasn't much snow. And then it is tempting to be like, wow, this person needs some drywall done. Like I know how to do that. Like I could probably charge $300. And it's like, you have all those leads right there. And then the same thing, it's like, Debbie D wants lawn mowing in Wittsville, Mass. And it's like, all right, but it's like, that's where you're jumping all over the part. And that's where I think that the handyman aspect of it. But think about it like this. If anybody's listening, that's just starting out, you're trying to build a client base around lawn care and landscaping, right? And you're cutting somebody's lawn or you're doing a project at the house relevant to what we do. And they come out and say, hey, can you install some baseboards in my house? And, it takes you 3 days. Think of those 3 days, you could have been making that same money doing what you're actually set out to do and building a reputation off that. Now you're building a reputation as like a jack of all trades, or essentially to me, you're a handyman, or
Right.
not to sound rude, you're a helper. you know, you're a honey-do list puncher. Like you punch out honey-do list for housewives and husbands, you know. So think of it sucks to say no, especially when you need money. But if you drive, there's so much meat on the table in landscaping and lawn care. Like it's not long as long as you push it. But that's like your doctor coming out and going like, yo, hey, listen, you know, I got some crack on the side after this, you know, if you want to do anything. You know what I mean? It's like, wait a second, you doing open heart surgery? You gonna sell me some crack? That's what I was saying before we started. JC looks like an 80s undercover drug cop.
You got the stuff, I got the money. I got the money, I got the stuff.
It's interesting. I mean, you know, it's hard to say. I mean, it's like I'm gonna look for that person that's in, you know, doing one thing instead of like, you know, the heating guy that can paint my house at the same time. I mean, I really not gonna have that heating guy come in and do my painting and drywall and, you know.
But that's what I mean. Think about, yeah, like this is what I mean, professionalism of landscape. And I'm sorry, no, like anybody can disagree with me. Fuck off, you're wrong. This industry is looked down as like a grunt and a dumbasses industry. And it's because of what we've done, because I feel like so many guys do that. Like you said, a professional plumber isn't going to come in and be like, you can't go, hey, can you install that chandelier? They're going to look at you like, I'm charging $100 more just for asking that question. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Right.
But because we're so, hey, you know, I got 15 years worth of junk in my basement. Oh, I'll do it. I'll do it for, you know, $79. Sorry, it doesn't rant. This should piss me off a little bit.
No, it's fine. I mean, I enjoy that you're ranting about it, and I just, you know, I kind of wanted everybody's opinion. Anybody out there that has their opinion too, go ahead and comment on it. I mean, I'd like to hear, you know, your comments too on this stuff. I mean, it's definitely something that I see a lot more of, and you know, our area, we don't have, I mean, yeah, we have FERT licenses where when you spray chemicals, you got to have that. Irrigation, you got to have a certificate, but a lot of stuff like mowing and that, there's not many licenses in our state. And you know, every state has different things. And I feel like if you have it to where the state licenses it, then yeah, maybe, you know, if you want to get into it and you can get licensed in both things, it shows that you are more reputable than, you know, just saying, hey, I'll do everything for you. So
yeah, I mean, I've done small jobs, and that's what differentiates it, because that person's offering to do projects versus jobs. And you know, like I've worked on a yard, and the person wanted a very small tree down, and I happened to have a chainsaw with me. It took me 2 seconds to knock this thing down, and I've charged them obviously for that, just to do that. It really took me a couple minutes, if that, to take that tree out, you know. And but I'm not like gonna take on a 2 or 3 day project doing drywall, like Josh says, where you could be doing 10, 12, 13 lawns and making that money a lot quicker and having more time to do other jobs, or maybe even some free time for yourself. And you're going to make up that money right there, right then and there. So I think the difference would be from doing projects, taking on projects, to taking on small jobs, you know. And even small jobs are time consuming too. Depends on what it is. You know?
Oh yeah.
I keep hitting the fucking mute button on this thing. One of the most empowering things of going into business is it really is saying no. The pride you get, and I know this is cliche because we went through this whole like no is no, but like legit, the first time that you can look at a customer and say, no, I don't do that, you're gonna have to call somebody else. Here's this person. It feels great, because typically when you're like, shit, I need that $50 for little Timmy's lunch for the week, you know, like shit, okay, yeah, I'll pick your dog shit up out of you after $50, no problem. And here you fucking bitch about it for 3 weeks how I did it wrong, and you know, you need to just kind of YOLO and blah blah blah. No, the first time you're like, no, I don't do that. I love that shit right now. Right. When someone goes, hey, you do this? No, that's like when we do like granite stairs and stuff, we'll do like, just because of time consumption, like we'll do light carpentry behind, like trim board and like flashing, anything with light carpentry we'll do just to speed it up, because carpenter since COVID can take like 2 months to get out. So now we get to the point where like, all right, if it takes us under like half a day, we'll just knock it out. And I mean, we charge what carpenters charge. Trust me, I'm not like, hey, we're charging this. Like we're going out. We're charging premium on it.
Right. I agree with you.
Just say no. Yeah. No means no.
Just no's the best word you can say. I mean, I've come to realization, yeah, I say no a lot on a lot of stuff, and then there's some that I'll say yes to. I mean, and it's more of, you know, my specialty. It's not like, unless like I said, during the downtime, I feel like during your downtime, if you have nothing going on, like this year we did, we helped one of our customers put in their sink. Literally, I can do that. I know my plumbing. He knew I built my house, so it was like, sure, we can do it real quick. We have nothing going on, but it's like when we have nothing going on, I'm not going out and promoting it to all my customers like, hey, I'll come do your sink. I'm not going to do that. So that's my topic. I know JC's got a great topic that he wants to talk about today. And I think maybe Josh might have a topic too. So JC, what's your topic today, buddy?
Well, Josh pointed out earlier, he said I looked like an 80s, early 80s or early 90s drug dealer from a movie or something because I got my plaid and hoodie on. But yeah, I was thinking about it this morning on my way to Dunks, my Dunkin' run. And I was remembering like back in high school and middle school and stuff. And I thought a good topic would be fashion trends growing up, because I see a lot of kids nowadays doing the stuff that we used to do when we were younger too. Some things stuck, some things, fell off really, really quick. But Scott, I gotta be honest with you. When I first thought of this topic and I was thinking about you, I automatically paired you up with a pair of Jinko jeans. I don't know if anybody knows what those are, but if you don't know what they are and you're listening to this podcast or video, look up Google and Google JNCO, Jinko jeans, and after you pull up the images, it's self-explanatory. I think most people, at least from our generation, have come across those, and I'm guilty of it too because I did have a pair of Jinko jeans in high school, just one.
I did not. I think because I was poor, but I wouldn't have worn them anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jinko jeans. So Scott, what was a fashion trend that you regret, or you think you look back and you realize how stupid it was when you were younger?
I mean, everything I wore, I don't really regret. Yeah, well, yeah, my wife just said my rat tail, maybe. That was like when I was like 13, but I mean, I wouldn't have a rat tail. Yeah, no rat tails now. I mean, but I didn't really. I mean, there wasn't much I would regret. As clothes wise, I know I had the Jenko jeans. I wore Dickie pants a lot. Doc Martin boots. Flannels. I had flannels. I had a chain wallet because I was a skater. I was pretty much considered like the skaters in the what do you call it? The smokers, pretty much I hung out with a lot of down crowd, not like more of the preppy crowd. So it's not like, in high school, I had little pigtails out of my hair all the way across my hair. I had a bowl cut with a longer top hair. I dyed my hair blonde for a couple years. So there's a little bit more to me than meets the eye. So
I'm dying for a picture.
Don't worry.
Go watch any 90s kids movie and Scott's in that movie. Like his whole being is in that movie.
Don't worry. I'll find the picture. Okay. I'll put it up on, I'll go ahead and find the picture and put it up on the end of this video so everybody can see what I actually look like in high school. Okay. There's a couple good pictures. Okay. But yeah, I was more of my pants hang down below my ass. So I mean that was one thing, they still do, but it's just because I don't have an ass. But I mean, normally, it was like, I don't know, it was laid back, have fun, and just get out there and skate pretty much.
Did your parents ever like complain to you, like when you left the house, like why are you wearing that, or like did you get a haircut or something? Like Beastie Boys,
No, my parents were divorced, so it was kind of like I went back and forth between my mom and my dad's, and my dad didn't really care too much about it. My dad was more of like kind of like a hippie back in his day, so he kind of like didn't really care too much about it. My mom, she let me be what I was gonna be, and she'd actually pay for the clothes there. If I said, well, this is what I want, she'd go out and pay for it. But she never really said too much about it. I mean, she was kind of oblivious to everything that went around. So I mean, there's a good story behind that one. But it's different. I mean, I was different back then, and I still kind of am a little bit different, but not as much as I was. I mean, if I went back to that, you'd be like, "What the heck happened to this guy?" But
Do you have your
I
ears
mean,
pierced?
yeah. Oh, I still do. I have holes here. I have a hole up here. I have my tongue pierced. So I mean, I have piercings. I didn't get my first tattoo till I was 25, so that's a good thing. So there you go on that. So, but yeah.
What about
What
you,
about
Josh?
you, Josh? He doesn't want to talk about this
He has
subject.
his mic on mute right now. He doesn't want to speak.
No, because legit, I can picture Scott plain as day.
Yeah.
without, like
I mean, if
blinking
you
an eye.
look
I
at
just-
some
I-
good movies, if you look at like a movie called, I think Kids, was it Kids? Yeah. If you look at the movie Kids, that
Casper
some
and
of those
Tilly.
kids look at like me. Yeah.
Yeah, I love Kids. I love them. Nobody knows about Kids. It's funny you bring that up. No one ever knows what Kids is. It's funny because like you think it's like some cornfield shit, like some Midwesterner shit, but that was out here in Boston too. Like you had like as a teenager, you had like you had your wiggers, which were your white kids that dressed in hip hop culture. You had your you would call that more like a juggalo type of look now. I think what you're talking about with like the Janko jeans, the bowl cut, the baggy jerseys, or anything like that. It wasn't thin. Like so, I'm talking like early '90s.
Yeah, we were considered stoners, really, is what they considered our group.
See, I was in that crowd, and that was more like jeans and a t-shirt. Like that's and I'm talking like late '90s, early 2000s for us. But yeah, that's right. You got to go back and watch like Three Ninjas and stuff like that, and you'll see exactly what we're talking about with Scott. Like legit.
Yeah.
I'm getting a kick out of that because
there's a lot of movies that you could go back to and be like, wow, that's
Like
definitely that was me.
Movies, yeah.
I just picture I can picture it vividly. It's so funny. I think Jensen, you're right. It's crazy, right? So I was born in '85. So my upbringing was more like the 80s styles and the early 90s and then 90s throughout the 2000s and whatnot. But like even my kids now, I have a teenage kid, and the styles that are coming back were the styles of poor people in the 80s and 90s, and it's driving me nuts because I go to my kid. I'm like, when Fila came back out, Fila was like the Walgreens shoe, and I'm like, you're wearing Fila's like I thought like they would call them Bobos in school. Like you're wearing Bobos, like those were fake shoes. Like you get beat up for that. And she's like, no, that's it. And you look at the magazines. I'm like, I would have been the coolest kid in fucking school if I was born in 2006. Like, are you kidding me? Like the fanny packs coming in, like the oversized Champion. Like you guys remember you could get Champion for like $3.99 in Walmart or Walgreens, and now it's like I bought a hoodie last year. It was like $90. I almost choked. And I know I sound like such an old man, but I'm like, holy crap. It is cool how like a lot of that old stuff is coming back. But I think I went through all the various styles growing up. Like as a kid, I was that kid in the my mother would dress me in the nut huggers and the baggiest like wool sweater. Like I look at the pitch day pictures and I'm like, my mom fucking hated me. It would be like the gel split. Like I had the bowl cut and I would have the part in the middle with like gel down, and I have these massive ears. So imagine these ears now is like a 10-year-old. So they're like satellite dishes on my head. So I'm like one of these. And I was really into like R&B, like Boys to Men back then. So I always wear the vests. The dress vest,
the sweater vest. Are you talking the sweater vest? Oh,
well, it wasn't a yeah, okay, yeah, those two. Yeah, the sweater vest, but the pullover, like like basically like you would wear under your tuxedo, like a 3-piece tux, like one of those. Like I would rock those with like the baggy white shirt and the light brown. Like, dude, yeah, I was that dude. Like if I could have had one.
See, your group in my area would be considered like preppy because that was more preppy area.
Really? See, that's fun.
Yeah.
So okay. But you're probably talking like mid 80s.
No, actually, I'm talking 90s, dude. Yeah.
Okay.
That was considered preppy in our area.
Okay, so this was like late 90s. But it's funny because preppy out here would have been anything like Abercrombie and Fitch, Old Navy, basically like anything with like a stripe across the chest, like Gap, Old Navy. Abercrombie and Fitch was the ultimate. Like if you wore Abercrombie and Fitch, like you were that douchebag. Like you grew up in like the affluent burb towns of like Boston or any metropolitan city. But yeah, I mean, it broke down like back then. You would wear FUBU or lugs. That would be like your hip hop culture back then. Like I had a bunch of that stuff, and then I went through a phase where like I just wore windbreakers. It was all windbreakers. It was windbreaker pants, windbreaker jackets. That's it. It went down. But I think it's really cool how a lot of like the 80s and 90s styles are coming back now. It's annoying because like it was really like poor people surviving, and now it's like
the old
iconic fashion.
the old nylon, or were they nylon warm-up suits, like the breakaway pants? Remember those?
Bro, my mother used to rock those, like the 5 different color, like neon, like neon yellow, pink, and orange.
Yeah.
Shoot, my mother. And now it's like I see people. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna go raid my mom's closet. Holy shit.
And one thing too, man, I was definitely that sweater. I had zero sense of style to begin with, so let me start out by saying that. But I had the FUBU. I was the like the backpack hip hop underground kid. I had the Jinko jeans when I was really younger. Sweater vest for sure. And then like you see the kids doing it now. They're pulling their white socks over their sweatpants with the white sneakers. Like we used to do that because it was freaking cold outside, and we wear layers, and we want to make sure that our pants would never roll up. But I had that. I had the baggy pants and the oversized white t-shirts, like the huge. I was wearing like 3X t-shirts when I was really a medium. And it's just so funny because like you're seeing a lot of the kids doing it nowadays. It's crazy. Oh God, the sweater vest. That's the thing I regret. It looks so.
Dude, I don't regret them. I'd still wear those shits right now. I don't care who said what. I'd wear a sweater vest right now with some like dad shorts. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever do so? One thing I was big on. I loved overalls back in the day, and I think a lot of that was like that crisscross era. So it was overalls, and then the big thing was the Roger Rabbit and the Miley Coyote. They were wearing the crisscross outfits, but their t-shirts were reversed. I don't know if you guys do those. That was like a huge thing, and that was probably early '90s.
Yeah, I remember those t-shirts. Yeah, it was like Taz, a lot of Taz.
Yeah, Daffy, Taz, Roger, all those guys.
Yeah.
It's funny, dude, because even like my wife's kind of like what you would call a fashionista, right? And like she's up to everything. Like she's like I hate going out with her because like I'll go out in like regular jeans, shorts, and a t-shirt, and she comes down and it's just like what she thinks is blah, and I'm like, where the fuck are you going? Like we're going to Walmart. Like what the fuck? And but like she's brought up the styles. Like even like within 2 years, like you had like the 60s styles come back for women, the 70s style, the 80s, the 90s, early like Y2K stuff come back. And it's kind of cool how like at the same time it's sad because you can tell we're getting really fucking old because we've had like a few decades of like styles come back into play just since COVID, but it is kind of cool. The fanny packs I thought were pretty cool because I liked fanny packs as a kid. And I saw those come back, but now they wear them across their across the chest now.
Yeah. I did have a fanny pack when they first came out, but I never would wear it out. I think the only time I really wore it was we went to Disney. I think that was the only time I actually wore it. But going out to school or anything hanging out with everybody. Yeah. Oh yeah. I
didn't wear them past the age of 12. I had a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle one, but like after a certain age, the kids would beat your ass for wearing a fanny. Like, fucking
Scott used to have I guarantee Scott used to have a yellow cassette Walkman.
Oh yeah, I had a cassette Walkman. I had a boom box. One of them little boom boxes.
Yep.
I mean, I had a lot of what do they call those CD ones? The first CD ones. I used to carry that. Discmans, yes. Oh yeah, dude. I had those
big ass ones. They look like a slice of bread, right? Square and then round in the bottom. Yeah. I used to try to stuff those into your pocket. It was like impossible.
Yeah. And if I had to carry it like on the side as I'm riding a walk with the headphones, like come on.
If you had money, you had the belt clip. You could sign up, but you had to have the money.
Yeah, I didn't have that. I didn't have that kind of money.
Kids don't even know what CDs are, like let alone cassettes. They don't know what CDs are.
You know what? I'm gonna call you on that. 10 years ago, yeah, but CDs and cassettes have come back. Both my kids have CDs and cassette players. So for some reason, that's what I mean. Those styles are coming back. Like my daughter has tapes. Like my youngest daughter, who's 12, she wants like the Ice Cube, like throwback shit too, not like the new shit. My oldest daughter, she's big on the CDs and stuff. She has the collection. My wife we have a record player right there. So it's like a lot of that stuff came back because that Y2K and that 90s style came back. What was with that? The Casio Discman, the Walkman with remember the old dingy headphones that like if you sneeze too hard they break, like stuff like that. Like it's all back in stock. Yeah. It's a fad. It goes with the fit. The fit is the clothing element. Okay, so in case you didn't know.
Remember the LA Gear lights and the
oh yeah. Yeah.
Dude, you're talking about my family reunion in like 1990, right?
Every time you step, the lights would go on. Now every single kid, like toddler kid shoes, has those lights on now. But like if you were in like the 6th, 5th grade, those were like the coolest sneakers. And the Converse gels. Do you remember those? The Penny Hardaways.
Yep. Pennies. Yep.
Yeah. The Airwalks with the pump.
Yeah,
We had the pump. And that was the biggest thing. I think by the time my parents bought me one of them because they wouldn't buy me one, they were already kind of like phasing out where nobody wanted to wear them at school. And everybody was kind of like, what do you got those for? And I was like, oh, because I want to be like you guys. I want to be, you know, and then at that point they're all on to different shoes. And I'm like, really? Like my parents just spent all this money and I got to wear these for 6 months at least because that's what they bought me.
Yeah. I didn't have shit for money growing up. So like even like when Shaq came out with the Payless shoe, that was like the biggest thing in the world. Like you could wear Shaqs, but then people reeled up. When I say Payless isn't what it was in the 90s, where like literally you walk in and get a pair of shoes for like $5. Like I used to, like my friends all have like Allen. I was real into basketball shoes. Like Air Jordans was like my tell all. Like to me, once I had Jordans, I made it in life. I was successful. So now like I have like a whole fucking shelf devoted to Jordans now, just because now I'm like, I can buy them. But yeah, the light up shoes, those were such a commodity of like, if you had money, you have them. And that's another one when like, I think it was Marshall's or Walgreens. No, mind you, I don't know about like Scott, where you are.
Yeah.
Or Jensen out here, but in Boston, Walgreens was actually like a department store back in the day. It wasn't like a CVS. Like you walk in, they had clothes, they had toys, sneakers, and that's why I keep on saying Walgreens used to be the oh no, I'm sorry, Woolworths, not Walgreens. Woolworths. Yeah, yeah. So Woolworths was you did have it back then.
Yeah, there was one by us, but we spent more time at like Sears and Kmart. Because my mom worked at Kmart, so it was like I hung out more there.
So we had Kmart. Sears was like, we didn't have a car, so Sears would have taken us like 3 hours one way on a bus, which would be like a 15-minute car ride.
Josh, did you remember a store in your area called Favor? It was like, or Fava. It was like a sneaker store. It's kind of like a Atomic Can or Chess King or something like that.
Maybe in the malls back in the day, like the Copley Square Mall or the Watertown Mall.
Yeah,
but those places were in and out. Like
that's where we used to get. My mom used to buy us our sneakers, and like it was a similar thing like Payless shoes. You walk in, and I remember I had a pair of Everlast sneakers, like the boxing one, and like I thought they were the coolest thing. I'm like ready to go.
Because Everlast, you see the boxing gyms and stuff too.
Right.
Yeah. I'd walk into school and then like everybody knew I bought my sneakers at Favor, and like you'd get like made fun of and stuff while everybody has like the pumps and the lights and stuff and whatever, you know. But like I was never I always have big feet, and so like Jordan, I never owned a pair of Jordans or any of those sneakers because they didn't look good on my feet because they were so like size. I wear a size 12 and like it just looked dumb, you know, like on me.
Clown shoe, yeah, clown shoe looking thing when you get when your foot's too big. That's just the guy. Can you wear Chuck Taylor's All Stars?
I do. That's actually that's my I'm because I'm a cheap bastard. So they're not cheap anymore though.
No.
Just to cut you off, I had that conversation with my wife and someone else, and I'm glad you bring that up because everybody's like, no, they used to be so expensive. I'm like, they were at one point were $16 shoes. Like I remember because when I started working on my own as a teenager, I was like, I'm not wearing fucking Payless anymore. Like I'm not wearing and like you said, like I'm not getting beat up in school because it's either you're gonna get stabbed because people want your Jordans in Boston public schools, or you're gonna get an ass kicked because you're poor. So I'm like, I want actual shoes. Then I went to the mall with $20. I'm like, I can't find shit for $20. And then I went into one of like these loft places, and you could get the All Stars for like $16-20. So thank you. I'm gonna save this episode and show it to everybody that fucking questions me on the price of Chuck. There you go, boom, Chuck Taylor's.
Dude, they were a lot of shoes back then were a lot cheaper. Man, I used to buy Vans for like $25. Like, and Vans today are like $80-$90 for a pair of Vans.
I got a couple pair, and I couldn't believe that when I went in to get them. You're right, because I thought you go get Vans and they're going to be like $30 sneakers, and I think they're like $100 for like the cool pair.
Yeah, I'd go in. My parents would give me like $100 for shoes, and it would like I'd go to the skater store and buy 4 pairs of Vans, and I'd be like, okay, cool, I got a different pair for whatever color I want pants I want to wear that day. So
it's like
so my wife found a couple pictures.
It's the same thing with the Fila's and
that's one.
You look like an asshole. Like legit. Oh my god, yeah.
Oh yeah, you're definitely one of those like
early longer hair. See,
You're like
Yeah.
one of those early 90 like real people Disney movies, like kids.
Yeah.
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 Hey Kyle,
After
give me your
school
money.
stories.
Look at that one. Say, look at that one. That's
So,
Remember that movie? Hey Josh, remember that movie? Was it Sidekick with Chuck Norris and that kid? Like karate. That's Scott.
Yeah. Off the side. Don't watch out, guys.
I have a feeling I can hear your wife. She's gonna start digging through the photo albums and the old memorabilia and come up with some crazy stuff.
She's going crazy through pictures
Oh,
right now. I
man.
tell you that much. So.
Josh, when did you first start using gel for your hair? Because you still use it.
Gel? Are you kidding me? I still use gel. I told you those pictures in school. My mother would use like half a bottle to hold my hair down.
It was like Dep or LA Look or something like that.
It was LA Look. Yeah, I think I still have a bottle of LA Look in my bathroom, to be honest with you.
Oh man. Yeah.
I got it. When it gets like this, it's crazy. I got to use gel. I hate using mousse and all that stuff. I still use gel. I still have a bottle of hairspray and all that crap.
You said I used to use mousse when I was a kid, man. Mousse gel. Now it's what did I use? That pomade now?
Yeah, I don't like that just because it doesn't always go like I have like kind of thick hair and it doesn't work well with me. Sometimes I'll be going all of a sudden I have like a chunk of white shit over here that just doesn't just doesn't smooth out. And I'm like,
myself and Irene.
Yeah.
I can just see Josh now.
Yeah, we got to bring something back. I'm. You know what? This is. I don't know. Maybe something we could do like at some point, like all of us bring back one fashion look from like the 90s and then just wear it for the show.
Dress it up. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I still have my chain wallet somewhere. I mean, I could probably bring that out.
The style you're painting is exactly, I think, what like my daughter goes into. Like she does the Janko jeans, the wallet chain, the band shirts. She wants all the piercings and shit, but she won't get them. She has a bunch of the ear piercings and stuff. But like that style that you're talking, like that's still a thing. It's not like the preppy. Preppy would be like the main style, but it's definitely like that subculture still there because she does all that shit. Like we just but the pants are ridiculous. I think my wife paid like Christmas. It was like $200 for a pair of those fucking pants. It was absurd. I was like, what? I was like, I would have just beat a kid up when I was 17 and taken them. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's changed a lot. Prices wise and ridiculous anymore on that stuff.
What drives me crazy is because, and I keep saying it, and people are like, you fucking know. It's because it was a poor people style with some of the shit the Champion. Like you need to have 2 full-time jobs to buy a Champion outfit right now.
Mm-hmm.
We sound like we're from the 80s and 90s, by the way. We sound like old people.
When we were kids, we'd hang out at the mall, but the mall's not there anymore. Like no one goes to the mall anymore. So like, what do your kids, Scott? What do your kids? I mean, Josh, what do your kids do?
I want to make fun of them all the time for it, but like they'll go to malls, they'll go over kids' houses, but like, dude, social media, they don't have to do anything anymore. Like, dude, if you think about it, you can date on social media, you can order food on social media, like everything can be done digitally. Yeah, they were saying for this generation is going to be one of the lowest repopulating generations ever because, like, one, the people skills aren't there because everything's done online. You don't have to approach people anymore. So, like, how are you going to get laid when you're just like, hey, Debbie, and then you meet them in person, you're like, okay, do this. But I'm going off topic here. Sorry. Honestly, a lot of times they just hang out. They'll go with friends. They'll go to the movies. Like we just moved to this area, so we don't know a lot of spots. But like, my youngest, it was go outside and play. Like we came from the suburbs on the street where there weren't a lot of cars, so it was like go outside and fucking play. Just don't get kidnapped. Anybody comes up with like puppies or drugs, don't go with them, or you're not coming back. And yeah, I mean, listen, I'm legit. I tell them it's not like don't go with the scary man. It's like don't go with the guy that's offering you something because he's going to take you. He's going to do bad things.
See, that reminds me of like back in my age, like when they said don't go in the van with the puppies. That guy's got puppies. Don't let him talk you into the van.
But see, the thing is like we're vivid. Like my mother did the same. Like don't do it. Why? But don't do it. Don't ask me why. me and my wife are like because they're going to touch you. They're going to touch you in bad spots. Do you want that done to you? No, then don't go with the guy with puppies and candy. He's going to make you a drug addict.
Josh, so I'm trying to remember back when I was a kid and it almost seemed like my parents didn't really care what we did because like summer vacation, like we'd be outside till like midnight and come home. And I lived in the inner city and I know you did too, but it was almost like you felt more safe in the inner city because like for some
Yep.
reason in my neighborhood, like everybody knew who you were. They knew who the troublemakers were. They
Yeah.
knew who the good kids were, and like eyes, they'd be always vigilant, so they know like who's walking around the neighborhood and stuff like that. And my parents really weren't really too concerned. We, obviously we had rules. We didn't get into the white van with the puppies and take candy and stuff like that. But we'd go out, they wouldn't hear from us from hours, and then we'd come back home again. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have anything.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm a little bit more lenient when it comes to my kids. That like my oldest, I'd probably let her do that. My wife, no way. And I think it's just coming from like a female perspective in the city, where my wife knows what she dealt with out here. But yeah, no, honestly, 100%. Like being like the burbs, like even then, I wouldn't let the kids roll up on their own. But yeah, dude, like we'd be out. God, it'd be out till like you said, midnight doing. I mean, I was always coming home like stoned to shit, but like like at the same time, she didn't know that. But like, I think it was a different time. And I'm not going to say that any of the stuff, like the biggest misconception that comes from like the boomer generation is like that didn't happen in our day. It happened in your day. You just didn't have it out and about. You didn't have social media. You didn't have the internet. Like you didn't know these things were going on. Like it happened because like you were beating your wives were being raped. People like, I think it was like the statistic I read somewhere was like the boomer generation is like produced more pedophiles and like anything on record, because that's when they started keeping the statistic of millennials that were reporting stuff. So like that stuff went on. It just wasn't in your face. It's like now when like, the creepy guy next door scratches his balls going out to get the mail. It's getting lit up on Twitter and Facebook. So I think it's different. And then at the same time, it's like you can use that as a tool. Where like when your kids are out, like I track both my kids like when they're out on their phones and stuff. Like I don't care, they know it. But I think for me the biggest thing is I'm open with my kids. If my kids ever had a question about anything, it's uncomfortable. But I wish someone would tell me the things I wanted to know when I was a teenager, instead of just do what I'm telling you. But why? Because I was that kid. I was the kid that would have went with the puppy. You got fucking puppies and candies. Of course I'm gonna go in the van, dude. You got Sega? Like, let's go, dude. Like, come on. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I was that naive kid that would have went, but I wanted to know why. And that's how I figure is like, because these are the things. This is the repercussion if something's gonna happen to you because you didn't listen, or because you went with this person. And maybe it won't, but listen, that's just how it works. But I don't know if that answered your question. Or even
Scott,
if you were asking a question.
Scott, what was your favorite like childhood TV show when you were growing up?
Oh my gosh, dude. There were so many. I know way back when I was younger, it was Dukes of Hazzard. And my parents used to say when I was really young, I used to say Dukes of Ha because I couldn't say Hazard. Like, and that, I mean, there was Incredible Hulk. I mean, oh, dude, there were so many. I watched a lot of more cartoons than anything. I was more artistic, so I kind of grew up and kind of just watched cartoons more than anything. So I mean, if you went on with cartoons, I mean, I watched GI Joe, I watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I mean, I could literally sit on there and watch something. I might, when I got up into my teens, I'd say the thing I watched the most was Saturday Night Live. I mean, I would sit there and watch every Saturday night, at my dad's or even at my mom's. I'd watch Saturday Night Live. Pretty much both my parents let me have TVs in my room when I was, I would say probably 10, 12. So it was kind of like I went in my room at my dad's, and he lived in the hood. So it was like, okay, you went and played out in the hood till 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, get back in the house, watch Saturday Night Live in your room and go to sleep, and wake back up and write at cartoons. So, I mean, that's pretty much what I did. So, I mean, that was my favorite stuff, was watching any type of cartoon. I kind of same way all the way up. So like my kids will turn around and my youngest will want to watch cartoon. I'll sit there and watch them. We'll end up watching freaking 4 or 5 hours of cartoons, just watching and then my wife's like, well, you got to go do something. Okay, we'll go do something.
I used to watch this show whenever we had summer vacation during the daytime. It was on USA, USA Network, and not a lot of people, I think, know about it. But the show was called Parker Lewis Can't Lose, and I don't
heard of it.
What that is.
Oh, never
Oh
heard
man,
of
it was my favorite show. It was just it was like this kid in high school with his 3 buddies, and it was I don't know how to explain it, but you can't even find it anywhere. Like there's no DVDs on it. It was just It was maybe on for like 3 seasons or something, but I just absolutely loved watching that show. I'm wondering if anybody that's listening knows what I'm talking about, but it was a really, really cool show.
Yeah, it sounds like a cool show.
Is anybody listening?
Hopefully people are listening.
All right. TV shows, I don't know. So again, I was poor, if you didn't get that in the last conversation. So for me, it was like 4, 5, 6, 25, 38, 56. So what was ever on those stations? But from what I remember, when I was younger, it was like He-Man, maybe some Thundercats if they would come on.
Thundercats, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Thundercats, definitely. Do you have any of the toys?
Oh man, you know what's funny? So my birthday was Friday, and I did. Hold on one second. Hold on.
Happy birthday.
Okay. Oh, great! There we go. See, now I had pretty much a lot of the He-Mans, a lot of Thundercats. Like I said, pretty much every G.I. Joe I had.
I had all the wrestling, WWF
Oh,
wrestling.
I had a bunch of those. Yeah, I had a bunch of those. All right, so here we go.
I'm back. So this isn't a huge deal, but it's funny. So not the He-Man toys. So I'm not in my 40s yet, but my kids like to bust my balls that I'm 45 and that I'm an old man.
Right.
So Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was one of my favorite things. And then I'll show you something that doesn't exist anymore. So like they packaged up a lot of my old stuff I had from back in the day.
Cool.
The Ninja Turtles.
I used to have that. I had that, Raphael.
You know what? These came from Woolworths back in the day. Like the all the custom ones and stuff. Like these crazy ones. Like when they had like I was
Oh, you might have some money on that thing.
probably. But you know what's funny? I used to have boxes of this shit because Woodworths would have like this like 99-cent sale once a month on like loose shit. Like if people return, like this one smells funny, like they throw them in a basket. But I can't remember the name of them. But this was like the offset of the Trolls, right? And
yeah,
but
I
it was like the
remember that a little
muscular badass Trolls. And I'm looking like I can't remember the show, but I'm like I remember I went. It was like one year it blew up, and see that guy.
Yeah.
And then you do one of these. Hold on, I think it damn lights up. But I had a bunch of those. I don't know. I just thought it was funny we brought that up because my kids brought it down, and then I started going down memory lane of like the toys that came with them. But yeah, we like Thundercats, He-Man. I probably have those. Those were just a box they found in the basement. They were putting things together to make fun of me. So I probably do have some of the action figures. But G.I. Joe, Power Rangers had come out when I was in elementary school, so that obviously was a Power Ranger kid. And then the whole TGI Friday block with like Family Matters.
You just brought back a hurt that I have inside me that I'll never forgive my sister for, man.
What's that?
God, I hate it. So I used to have a regular or an original Nintendo NES, like still the box and everything not brand new, but I mean I had the box, all the paperwork, everything, and I had a bunch of NES games. And one day, I don't know, I left and I came back home and it was a Saturday and my sister's in the kitchen table counting a bunch of like a wad of cash. And I'm like, hey, where'd you get all that money? She goes, we had a yard sale. I'm like, what'd you guys sell? And she sold my Nintendo and all my games for like, every game was like 15 cents. And I'm like,
gosh.
Oh, it still hurts. It still hurts. Can you imagine having that in the box right now and like all those games?
Oh man, I have an Atari downstairs in the box.
Hold on to that, man.
I am definitely.
It's not worth a ton, but I'm gonna give it to the kids when they get older to do something with.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I sucked at video games too. I couldn't even beat the first Super Mario Brothers. So maybe it was a good thing that she sold all that stuff.
Yeah, but
you know,
see, if you still had it today.
You know what popped into my head was my Huffy bike from 1990s. Did you guys write how I had a Huffy? It was red and black. Like, dude, I don't know why. We're good, like nostalgia coming back here right now with fucking the 90s, dude. But yeah, and then I had the spokes, the neon spokes in the wheel and stuff like that.
Put the can in between the tires so they can make the sound.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the spokes did it for you. Yeah, you know, it gave you that whole sound effect. That was cool. Scott, you got me wanting to go out. I got my skateboard and my longboard have been sitting in my back hall since I moved in here. You're making me want to go ride, go skate.
Yeah, definitely. You should. I mean, you should pick it back up. Just don't
I
break a
know,
leg
I
on
should.
the way out.
I already got a broken leg. I got an ACL missing on one of them, so that's why I don't do it as much.
Yeah. I mean, I stopped a long time ago. I mean, I still have my original one. So, I mean, it's still out there. And yeah.
Boom, right now, here's what's going to happen. If we do this media day thing that we've been talking about with the other people, we're finding skateboards when we go out to Illinois, and we're gonna go skating for a little bit. We don't have to do pipes or nothing. We can literally have pipes. We can ramps. We can go. I can't do none of that shit anymore, dude. I can skate around the block.
You know what? If
Yeah,
we
at a
do,
time.
I will bring mine. I'll bring mine with me.
I'll do the same.
Warn me ahead of time so I could open up an insurance policy.
You got to bring something too. You got to bring your
Life
rollerblades or
insurance, life
skateboard.
insurance.
Yeah, right.
Roller.
Dude, I got denied life insurance again.
Wow.
I get
You're
second
not old
time in
enough.
3 years. No, dude, it's I got I have bipolar, right? I was diagnosed with bipolar 4 years ago. And because I have bipolar and because I'm in a demographic of men in general of like 32 to 52 or something, men that age without bipolar and the higher, excuse me, are in the largest demographic for suicide. The bipolar end, they won't give it to me, mind you. Right? They go, we need 1 year of no medication changes and no hospitalizations. This was 2 years ago. So I go to the lady. I'm like, you're fucking kidding me, right? She goes, excuse me. I'm like, so 36 fucking years of no hospitalizations, no medicines for 30 years, and that don't count for shit. Sir, but we need 2 years. I'm like, you're not getting what I'm saying. I'm like, I've never tried to commit suicide. I'm like, I've never been hospitalized. I'm like, I got a fucking mood disorder. I'm not jumping off a bridge. I'm like, it's fucking stupid. So now I got to get a lawyer involved.
That's crazy. And they make it so difficult.
That's like my biggest pet peeve for the week. I know that was just like a random bomb, but that shit pisses me off.
No, it's not a random. I mean, that's normal. I mean, I can
Podcast is
understand
all
that.
about just random stuff that happens to us during the week.
And I get it. It's a demographic, a large demographic, but it's like, dude, if you go back and look at my chart to my history, there's nothing. I mean, besides a bunch of stupid shit when I was a kid, there's nothing there.
Right.
Just being cool.
Yep. Just being cool in the 90s, guys.
Yep. We got to do a 90s. We got to do a 90s theme podcast. Like, what's this face? Like what Jensen said, and just fucking dress up as like a decade.
Dressed up in the 90s. Yeah. I can see this. Okay.
You know
what are we gonna do? Every podcast we'll have to do a different one then. So we'll have to do like 2000s. Like
I think the weirdest.
I'm back from the 70s, so I'll have to go into the 70s when I'm a baby. You know.
I love the 80s. I think the weirdest era was the early 2000s with NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys and Britney Spears. That was just weird. That was
the ugliest. That was the ugliest style and fashion era. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely. So what else, guys? We got a couple more minutes. Is there anything else?
All right. What stupid shit we're gonna fire off now? Let's say.
You always throw something weird in there, so go ahead.
I'm trying. I'm not feeling weird today. I'm still tired. I think because I actually slept. All right. Let's go into sport. Let's go into sports real quick. I know you guys will go. All right. So Damian Lillard, Portland Trail Blazers. He scored a career high 71 points. 71 points is a lot of points to score in a basketball game. Typically, superstars. Typically, superstars will score, let's say between 30 and 45. That's on a high. He was tested for performance supplements like steroids and stuff like that. I want to get your guys put on steroids and human growth hormones and stuff. And I think they should allow them in sports. I think it would be more entertaining. I think they should allow these guys to dope up all they want, get fucking dickless and short-tempered and everything. But like, how much cooler would it be to see, like, you guys remember like the Mark McGwire and the Sammy Sosa era, where it was like that was like the most interesting thing in baseball since like I can remember. And like now, think about if you got guys scoring 71 points a night, and basketball games are going up to 150, 160 points per team. Football games, guys are getting fucking lifted out of their shoes when they're running around. I'm all for natural skill, but I don't think they should make a big deal about it, And not to say that Damian Lillard took PEs, but my big thing is that anytime someone scores like a career high, they have to get drug tested immediately.
See, and that's where it's kind of screwy, I mean, you do a good game, you could do a great game, and then they're going to be like, oh, well, you're definitely on drugs. It's one of those things. I feel like steroids can be for good because it kind of helps, muscles and, help back to, getting back to normal. But it also can, do that where it makes you score all out of the way. I don't think it should be banned because of that. I mean, just because you scored an all-time record because of that. No, like, whatever, let them go at it.
Well, let me give you this example. Right. You're comparing your spouse and you were comparing experiences in the bedroom, and maybe she has a past lover, he or she has a past lover, and they're like, wow, they're amazing, amazing. And you're like, wow, what if there was a performance enhancing pill? What if there was a performing enhancing pill? And
Well,
Blue Chew.
I'm sorry.
It's
Just
the
let me
same
know ahead of time.
concept. Like, I
Yeah.
think you should level the playing field. Let them do it. Let them fucking do it. It's entertainment. To me, it's all entertainment. Let them do it.
Here's my thing on it. And when it comes to sports and not the bedroom, Josh.
Josh is all about the bedroom today.
When it comes to sports
he
and
just
not
got
the
out of
bedroom,
bed.
I think I'm not against it, but the way I look at it is it's an integrity thing. So if there is a set of rules and it says that no one should be on it and you're on it, then I don't agree with it. But if they make the rules saying, yeah, it's fine, then okay, I'm for it. Because like there's a lot, there's a lot of enhancements, performance drugs in professional sports right now. Most people are doing, and they're not technically they're not allowed to do so. But there's always that, very few that have earned everything and worked hard naturally for it. So that's where I see the disparity. Now, if they say you're not allowed to use it, then I don't think it's fair for those that are using it, and it's not fair for those that haven't used it. But if they level the playing field and say everybody is up to it and it's your choice whether you want to or not, then I agree with that. You know what I mean? But I think from the integrity standpoint, from the set of rules.
I agree with that to an extent. Now, think back of your childhood. Almost all those athletes that you idolized were on some sort of PE. It doesn't have to be HGH or straight up steroid that you stick a needle in your ass, but they and this is why they all have asterisks under their names in the record books. It's like, again, to me, as I get what you're saying, that it's an integrity part of it, the integral part of it, of like, you did this on your own. This is how you should earn it. But how fucking boring are sports without them? Like, think about it. Like, think of some of those eras, like even the Shaq era, the Penny Hardaway era. You have your skill of Jordan, but even Jordan sometimes you don't think that he was popping something that gave him a little bit more like that gave him a little bit more energy. And it didn't necessarily have to be like a muscle growth hormone. It could have been something that like, hey, he fucking did some crack or some meth. It could have been anything in a form, That's like, who was it? Ocho Cinco was saying he took Viagra before games to keep the blood pumping. That's not considered it's performance enhancing in the bedroom and on the field.
I think though, like if we knew that everybody did not do enhancement performance drugs in professional sports, and you do have that natural talent, that superstar, you would appreciate that talent a lot more.
But no, because what's the line? What are you comparing it against? So if you didn't know that people took those enhancement drugs, and you putting yourself up against a Barry Bonds or a Sammy Sosa, you don't know what the actual ceiling is. The ceiling might have been Ken Griffey, which was still good, but Ken Griffey wasn't a Sammy Sosa or Mark McGwire. He was in that realm, but it could have been, Barry Goenfind, that you don't even know. That was the ceiling. Like it's not what you see. That's the problem. It's like you don't know where the mark is. So now you're searching and you're trying to get this fucking greatness out of yourself, and it's just not there because you're not taking those.
At the end of the day, I do think, I don't know much about like the drug portion of enhancement performance drugs, but I think if they left it up to anybody's choice, then I'm like, okay, cool. Like now, like, hey, maybe everybody has the same advantage per se as far as taking those supplements, and it doesn't have to be like, oh no, absolutely not, and then worry about the people that are doing it illegally. I just think that they should just leave it up to someone's choice, and then just enjoy the game, from that point forward. Don't even worry about that stuff. Just watch the game and enjoy it, have your favorite players, and go from there.
All right, so switch careers, Jensen. Now you're an adult film star. Are you taking PEs or are you doing it naturally?
I think everyone's doing that. Jeez, yeah.
See it switch. It's okay. Go ahead and do them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's not okay not to. I just think that they.
No, I know. I'm just busting chops.
They need to set their all right, just make a decision and then go from there. Like they should, I don't know.
But going back on kind of like what Josh said, if they kind of if they don't, then you're looking at a lot of these old stars that actually have done it and made these records. So then you pretty much should just throw these records out the wall almost.
And they're marking them as asterisks. But think about it this
Right.
way too, right? This segues into influencers, right?
Right.
You don't know what you get when you're listening to an influencer, right? So it's like a Barry Bonds. Like, he's great. He's the greatest of all time. He did this. Look, he has everything. Well, John's Mo, he's got fucking brand new mowers every year. He's got bad because he was giving them because he know how to talk. He didn't earn shit.
Right.
He earned it because he marketed. He didn't earn it because he was a good businessman. It's the same shit. It's deceiving. Right. But for the same sense, what's the whole influencer thing? It's entertainment. That's why we allow it. What are sports? Entertainment. It's like WWE. You didn't want to, and I'm sorry, Scott, if this burst your bubble. It's fake. It's scripted.
What?
Don't you dare say that. Don't say that.
It's
No, it's
scripted.
not.
Totally real. It's totally real.
But like that was a mind fuck when you were a kid, right? Like, if I know it's not, it's real. It's real. Bret Hart's the man. It's the same shit where it's like all right, like, it's entertainment. Like, at the same time, yeah, they grow up, but like, they're getting paid millions of dollars whether they play or not. Like, baseball is one of the most overpaid fucking sports. It's the only sport with guaranteed money with 12-year, $90 million contracts. And it's guaranteed money. Like, some of these guys that are retired in 2000 are still being paid by teams.
I bet you Alex Rodriguez is still getting paid, man.
Barry Bonds he's coming up on a next delayed payment of $500,000 a year till 2039.
Wow.
Allen Iverson has a deal with Reebok where he's going to get $5 million a year for the rest of his life because he went on a delayed payment from 96 till now. He basically cuffed him the money. He didn't take a payout. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's entertainment, and it's like, I say that, and I'm like, I sound so good with the comparison between like influencership and all that, because it's true. Because like, think about it, like, you got an influencer, you don't know what you get with, and in the back end, it's like finding out that Barry Bonds was all roided up, and going like, damn, like I idolized that dude. Like, I put everything I knew of learning how to play baseball around him, and I can never add up to that. It's the same thing as like an influencer. And some people might go, well, I got you where you needed to be. It's like, oh, okay. Okay.
Speaking of Alex Rodriguez, I think he's doing he's a guest speaker in one of these like summits that someone is pushing.
Jobber. I don't get that. Scott, that's on you because you're a jobber guy.
That was the other day. That was the Jobber Summit, and yeah, he was a speaker. I didn't really listen to that one. I don't know. It's kind of hard. I mean, it's weird. It's totally weird to me. I mean, especially like kind of coming from Jobber's more of a business service platform, and I feel like you should be talking to more to service people, like owners of business and stuff, and their experience. I guess A-Rod's kind of like he runs his own business. I mean, if you really think about it too, but it's not like a service business. So it's kind of like odd to have somebody.
It's crazy to me to grasp that concept, because this is the guy that had the biggest contract in baseball. Like, I don't even know if it's still forever. Like, he was the highest paid MLB player, and he's doing things for Jobber.
Right. It's just weird. It's totally weird.
Well, I think when those guys do that, right? So those guys will sign contracts, and those contracts might have something to do. So I'm going to butcher this, not word it correctly. So they might sign a contract under an umbrella company with a company that does stuff. So that umbrella company might be like, JC Communications, and JC Communications represents Jobber, Home Depot, Crystal Light. Let's talk about the 90s. Mountain Dew, and like, you have to do a segment for all those. But dude, I didn't get it, and like, I wanted to start trolling Jobber and I use Jobber, not to, and again, these words are mine, Josh Curvian, not Scott's, not Jensen's. I think Jobber's hurting. I think Jobber is, from what I've seen through different industries, the hardscape industries, I think they're hurting. I think people aren't understanding that they're kind of like a baseline. What is it called? SRM software for companies, and companies are growing them. A lot of people have been complaining about them, and I think they're kind of just treading water, and bringing A-Rod in was just kind of like, wow, you got a big star. But I was scratching my head. I'm like, why the fuck do you bring Alex Rodriguez in? Like, you couldn't bring in like an HGTV person that does something like on Home Improvement, But bring Tim Allen in under the Home Improvement character. You know what I mean? That guy. and just have fun with it. But like A-Rod, to me, that was just kind of like, all right, now you guys are just trying to sell tickets to it. Like you're taking the Jobber Summit and really just making it about business owners and making it about profit.
Is there one called Horizon that Toro's pushing out now? It's kind of similar, or I don't know what that one's all about. Is it a similar type of platform as Jobber, where it comes to like the invoicing and management stuff like that?
From what I gathered from a couple people that used to be in the past group, it is something through Toro that's kind of like that same thing, so I feel like it is. I've actually had a sent from one of the past UAG members to kind of go ahead and look at it and test it out for free for a couple months. And I haven't done it yet, but it's something that, might be looking into, I guess.
Is that the one that there's a particular guy I think we're all mutual friends with on Facebook that keep asking if you want to use a free CRM software?
Yeah. I think he
Yeah.
puts it out to everybody like every
Yeah.
week. At least he's looking for 3 people. So I mean,
Yeah, okay,
eventually
yeah,
he's gonna,
yeah.
he's gonna get probably like 100. I mean, he might be getting a little cut
Here's a
out of this.
band with free puppies. Come on in.
I got candy.
Well, if you want free software, come find us.
Yeah, I see
yeah.
that, and when I see that, it's not like but this is what I mean about the influencer thing. So that person in particular, I don't know. I mean, I guess you could consider him an influencer to a point.
To a point, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't consider him like a full big influencer though.
No, he's not
That's
like one of the big the heavy hitters out there. But again, like this is what I mean. Like when you see something like that, and I'm gonna use this one as particular, and I know this is really vague for anybody listening. So when you got people that talk about certain issues, or they talk about certain whatever throughout the week or the month, and all of a sudden something like, hey, do you want to try a CRM? It pops in. It's kind of like, get the fuck out of here. Like, dude, you got thrown a free software for a year. Dude, I was on Jobber when I began, and that's how I knew there was something with Jobber, because I called up, I said, hey, listen, I'm with this Echo group. Is there any way that I could get on there and figure out and do like an ambassador program? And the lady was real nice. She's like, yeah, she got me on within a day. She fucking quit the next day.
She gave it away for free. That's why.
Well, that's what it was. She was. I know, right? So she went through, and I think Bedell knew her. He was on the original, and I had no idea what I was supposed to do. And I would write, and I would write, and I would write. And honestly, to me, I'm like, well, this shit's expensive, dude. I was like, so I'll take a free one for a year. And I wrote it out for like a year. They're like, yeah, we need you to produce content and put Jobber stuff out there, and we're gonna tell you what to produce. And I'm like, yeah, I don't even post my own shit. Like I can't do that, So, but yeah, I mean, nothing to shit on Jobber completely, but I do think that they're starting to hurt, at least in this industry, a little bit. I think people are, I don't know if they're having a hard time figuring it out or what, but Alex Rodriguez was not the answer. And if you were going to do that, you could at least brought Jason Baratek on to like battle it. So now I want to call LMN and have VTech go on there and be like, fuck A-Rod. That's a Red Sox thing.
Yeah, that would be cool.
All right, so we've talked about a lot of things today, guys. But definitely next week will be even better. Hopefully, I mean, Josh is gonna come up with something else, and
I'll be more awake. I'm still like blah from the song.
I know the last 2 weeks you've been kind of sleepy.
Next episode,
huh?
Scott's gonna have his Genko jeans on next episode.
He's got to stand to the whole thing though.
Well, the thing is I don't have them anymore, so I'd have to go buy a pair, and that's going to cost me $200. I mean, I'm not going to find a pair probably for free, I mean, maybe if I go through a couple of Goodwills, I can find one.
I was going to say, go to the thrift store, dude. You'll find it.
Yeah. Maybe I can find one or two, maybe. So, I want to thank you guys for being on. Thank you guys for listening to us on iHeart, Spotify, Google, wherever you're listening to us or watching us on YouTube. Comment below what you guys think of. Comment on, your 90s crazy style, what you think really what Josh was wearing that, he's not telling about because he was a preppy. So, or tell us what you think about any of us. So we're all up for comments and some great information. So thank you guys for being on and have a good day. Thank you, Josh.
Goodbye.
Thank you, JC.
Goodbye.
Bye.
And cut.
That was a good one.